The National Hurricane Center issued its first notice for Michael at 4 p.m. on Saturday, October 6th, indicating a potential tropical cyclone was forming in the northwestern Caribbean Sea. Heavy rainfall and flash flooding were expected over portions of Central America, western Cuba, and the northeastern Yucatan Peninsula. Within 12 hours, the storm increased to a tropical depression with 50-mile-per-hour sustained winds and was forecasted to accelerate across the southeastern United States over the next few days. By 4 p.m. Sunday, the storm advanced to tropical storm status, with models forecasting Michael to reach hurricane strength within 2 days and to reach the Gulf of Mexico in 3. Michael then strengthened to a Category 1 hurricane by mid-morning on Monday. A short time later, rapid intensification began and very deep bursts of convection were noticeable within the eye wall. It then passed through the Yucatan Channel into the Gulf of Mexico late on October 8th, clipping the western end of Cuba. A 35-mile wide eye was noted to be forming at this time. Myself and my chase partner Michael Koch departed New York early morning on October 9th and began our long drive to Florida. Hurricane Michael was a Category 1 at that time. The intensification process accelerated during the car ride, with Michael becoming a major hurricane at 4 p.m. and a Category 4 when we arrived during the wee hours of Wednesday morning. As we arrived around 2 a.m., the first outer rain bands began coming ashore. The central pressure of Michael in the eye dropped about 20 millibars in the span of 6 hours into the early morning hours of October 10th. Rapid intensification continued throughout the day and a well-defined eye appeared. We met up with a few storm chasers who are a part of our media team and had quick breakfast at the Holiday Inn. We had a chat with the hotel owner and he informed us he would be riding out the storm at his hotel. We discussed a few safety precautions for him and his family before leaving, but let him know we would likely be back in a few hours. After breakfast, we all headed down to the waterfront in Panama City to scope out the ocean conditions. Looking at the radar, we knew we would not be able to stay at that location very long, especially during landfall due to many safety concerns including the deadly storm surge. Even though we remained on the western eye wall, which typically sees less of an impact, it was still a devastating situation, which you will see in the following videos. There was 5 of us chasing with 4 different vehicles. Eventually we all decided to head back inland towards the hotel, which was just a few minutes away. I will go ahead and speed up this part of the video. During our drive back, it was clear the rainfall rates were increasing and we were approaching tropical storm force winds. Notice the layout of the hotel parking lot as well as the carport area. Several people left their cars beneath this area. They would later suffer extensive damage as this front part of the hotel collapsed during Hurricane Michael's eye wall. After arriving at the hotel, we remained in the truck for a half hour or so. In that time, the tropical storm winds began increasing to hurricane force. The hurricane force winds continued to increase even more, and the hotel slowly began to suffer damage. It was at that point we knew it would not be safe to remain in the truck any longer. We parked on the south side of the hotel, which would be the most protected from debris since the strongest winds were coming out of the northeast. The owners of the hotel were doing their best to stop the water from entering, but as you will see, nothing can stop the damage caused by Michael.
That's crazy. Third floor of the hotel. Water pouring through the ceiling.
Around 1:45 p.m. on Wednesday, October 10, 2018, Hurricane Michael made landfall near Mexico Beach, Florida. The National Hurricane Center classified Michael as a Category 4 hurricane at landfall with maximum sustained wind speeds of 155 miles per hour. Michael's landfall pressure of 919 millibars was the 3rd lowest on record in the United States, only behind the Labor Day hurricane of 1935 and Camille in 1969. As I mentioned earlier, being on the leeward side of the hotel allowed us to be somewhat protected from the wind and flying debris. This allowed us to gather great footage.
That's the eye. That's the eye of the hurricane, baby.
For myself and many others, the most memorable part of Hurricane Michael was having the eye pass over us. After battling the strong winds of the western eye wall, it was amazing to see it get brighter outside, almost as if someone flipped a light switch on. An opening began forming in the clouds, and the sun even came out for a short time. You can clearly see the stadium effect.
Oh, I see it.
When the wind calmed down during the eye, we were able to assess some damage. The entire carport of the hotel had collapsed on several cars, including those owned by fellow storm chasers. Other cars parked along that side of the hotel suffered damage from debris as well. The eye quickly moved through, and now we had the second eye wall to experience. Many structures that were not damaged earlier now became damaged due to the change in wind direction. We all knew, however, that Michael had made landfall and it would soon be weakening. Eventually, Hurricane Michael pulled away, taking the rain and wind with it. We decided to head upstairs to get a higher look at the area around us. The window we were looking through had been blown out during the storm.
I mean, this really looks like tornado damage. People are starting to come out. You can see people are starting going out into the streets, assessing the damage. There's people hurt. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people lost their lives in this storm.
Once it was safe to do so, we went back outside again and got a closer look at the damage to the hotel and the parked cars. After changing our flat tire, we attempted to head over to Mexico Beach, where a member of our team needed some help. As you can see, the roads were nearly impassable and we were not able to get there. We then decided to begin our journey back home to New York City, which was not an easy task. Powerful winds from Michael knocked down trees and power lines along its path, while also causing heavy damage to buildings. The area between where we were in Callaway and the area of Mexico Beach suffered the most damage, with catastrophic damage reported due to extreme winds and storm surge. Numerous homes were flattened and trees fell over a wide area of the Florida Panhandle. Michael managed to reach Georgia as a Category 3 hurricane, becoming the first major hurricane to enter the state since 1898. As of the making of this video, at least 50 deaths had been attributed to the storm, including 35 in the United States and 15 in Central America. Insurance losses due to Michael in the United States are estimated between $8 and $11 billion. I'll leave you guys with some clips of the damage we encountered after Hurricane Michael.